All right, so welcome everyone. My name's Teresa Omart. I think I've talked to many of you. I'm the Sales and Marketing Director here at Terwilliger Plaza. Oh, there's the Spurlocks. Hi. Haven't seen a few of you for a while. So today is January 27th, 2022, and we are hosting this member panel. We call it Myth versus Fact. And we are recording it. So if you would like a copy or know someone who might want a copy who couldn't attend, we're happy to send that. We'll have the recording sometime next week. And routine stuff here. We do have a chat box down in the bottom. Feel free to put questions in there. However, we will have a real live question and answer period at the end of the at the talk. This is meant to really be kind of interactive and more informal. It's really for all of you to get to know what life would be like at Terwilliger and get some of your questions answered about, why people choose Terwilliger and why these particular people on our panel have chosen.
We're doing
if you're not on mute, if you could go ahead and mute, that would be awesome.
Yeah, okay.
And then let's see. So today we do have board members on the call. We have Kay Moran. I see her on my screen. There's Kay. And we also have Roberta Tossig. And she might be on my next screen. Roberta is here and also Roger Wirt. I believe that's all the board members. Please speak up if you are a board member who I've missed.
So strange, damn it.
All right, so just a quick little update. We are, most of you probably know this information, but we are a continuing care retirement community here at Terwilliger. We are in the process of building a new building as we speak. It's called Parkview. It has 127 independent living homes, which are about just over halfway reserved right now. So if that new building is something you're interested in, please reach out to myself or Jojo or Jess. There's Jojo. I can't introduce Jess because she's out doing tours. We've had lots of people want to come in the last few days. So Jess is meeting with a couple of different people today. So, and then, excuse me, we do also have, of course, our existing community, the Tower and the Heights, and we do have homes in both of those communities, both of those buildings available now for immediate reservation and move-in. So if you're interested, we will be raising our membership fees sometime in the next couple months. We're still offering 2021 membership fees. So if you've kind of been on the fence thinking you might want to do something, you could definitely save some money by doing it sooner rather than later. So you get a few more people admitted here from the waiting room, and then we will get going. So I would like to, at this time, introduce our panel members. They are all current members here at Terwilliger Plaza. Our first panelist is Sue Beardwood. Hi, Sue.
Hi.
Sue, she's our, might sound bad, she's our oldest member as far as how long she's lived. She attended Covina High School and the University of California, Los Angeles. She worked as a pre-kindergarten teacher for private schools, Head Start, and county schools in California. She moved here to Terwilliger Plaza after 8 years in a loft in the Pearl. And she really wanted to stay near downtown and absolutely loves the convenience of having public transportation literally right outside the community. So that's Sue. We also have Nani Wilson and Bruce Weersing. They're on the top and the middle for me. Hello. These are our newbies. They moved in and joined Terwilliger only about 1.5 years ago in July of 2020. So it'll be great to have the differing contrasts of information from everyone. Bruce, an Army veteran pacifist, attended Swarthmore College and the University of San Francisco prior to working as a health plan underwriter and designer, systems analyst, and database analyst. Nani attended Lesley College in Cambridge, Massachusetts, prior to her work as a consultant to the head of the Department of Social Services, co-dean at Phillips Andover Academy, and family coach. which I believe she's still working as a family coach. They have a large, diverse family and enjoy music, books, traveling, biking, kayaking, and sailing, to name a few. They are passionate about social justice, environmental causes, and world cultures. They're both still working. They kayak often and have lived half time in Mexico for the last 10 years while working in some fascinating projects in very poor barrios. So if you ever want to have some very interesting conversations about that, I'm sure they'd be happy to talk to you. And then we have Phyllis and Ron Maynard. They joined Terwilliger in 2016, so roughly 6 years or so ago. Ron attended both Portland State University and Northwestern University prior to his career in marketing, both with American Oil and the May Company, and public administration with our very own Portland Parks. He enjoys tennis, traveling, home music technology, and my favorite, wine appreciation. And Phyllis attended Portland State University and University of Oregon prior to her career as a teacher, school psychologist, and school district administrator. She enjoys reading, music, and attending tennis tournaments. They also enjoy spending time with their grandchildren. So I see a common theme with the teacher, educator theme, and most of you probably know this, but if you don't, just a reminder that Terwilliger Plaza was founded for teachers, by teachers years ago. So there's more information on our website on that, but it always fascinates me to see that education thread running through our membership. So I think we're ready to kind of start hearing from our panelists. What we'll do here is Jojo and Jess and I hear common things pretty much over and over with a similar thread. So I'm going to toss out some common myths that we hear from people. Or no, I shouldn't say myths. Sometimes they are myths, but some common concerns that people have. And then our panelists can kind of share their thoughts on that. So I'm not going to ask anybody to raise their hand to say if they think this or have told us this, but one thing we hear often is, no, I'm too active, I'm healthy, I'm still healthy, I'm still, doing everything I do on my own. I'm too young. I'm not going to go there. So I'm going to ask each of the panelists to just talk a little bit about that as far as they're concerned. I do want to share one picture. This is a picture of our panelists, Bruce and Nani. They, as you can see, are very, very active. They pedal their bicycles up the hill up to Terwilliger Boulevard, and most of you probably know it is not a flat road. So anyway, just to show how we definitely have an active community here. So if you see them out there on their bikes, give them a wave. All right, so given that I just showed your photo, Bruce and Nani, do you want to share a little bit of insight into your thoughts on the I'm still active, I'm too young?
We're so busy that we literally have to have a calendar now. And we are kayaking, biking, you're hiking, we're going to concerts, walking downtown frequently. Bruce does that most days. And yes, I would say that we have stayed extremely active and that we have more freedom to be active now that we don't own a house.
Yeah, I used to wonder, what am I going to do to replace the Arboretum where I used to hike? And then I discovered, oh, we have wooded canyons right here in view up the hill. And you can be totally out of sight of buildings and people and watch the birds and animals. Great.
And the bike path is right out the front door, by the way.
Thank you. Sue, what are your thoughts?
I'd like to say that I think it's better to move in sooner rather than later. I've been here almost 10 years and I was like 74 when I moved in. And some of my friends thought that was not good and thinking, you know, you're not ready for that. You're not going to be able to do the things that we've always done. But I found it that I was more free to do things once I moved in here. And I had years to enjoy the amenities that are here. Giving up a home that I had to care for, a loft that I owned, where I was being assessed every few years for things and having to do the repairs and things myself. I didn't want to own anything anymore. So this was the only place I looked. It had a great reputation, and I wanted to remain active, which I've done for 10 years now, and still am active on 2 or 3 committees.
Thank you, Sue. And active, like you alluded to, physically and otherwise.
Oh, no, I recently, though, had knee surgery, so that kept me from walking for a while. But it's been 3 months, and I go to the pool 3 times a week, and I walk on the other 2 days during the week, and the doctors think I'm doing marvelously well. And I was able to take advantage of our physical therapist here, and I didn't have to go to the hospital for that. I had it right here on the bottom floor where her office is. And I have high praises for her because I'm walking well and I'm recovering well. So I'm active. I participate here as a volunteer in so many things, as do most people who live here, I would say. We want to continue on with things we've done in the past, and volunteering is a good way to do it. A lot of social activity.
Perfect. How about Ron and Phyllis? Any extra input?
Yeah, I would say of the places we looked prior to moving to Terwilliger, I was disappointed in their workout rooms or physical activity rooms. They were really not very big and were not fully equipped. And Terwilliger is at the other end of the spectrum. It is a terrific place. I'm down there multiple times every week, which is 3 floors down from our apartment. And it's the best that I have seen. And it's really, really important for a senior. In addition, I have played tennis for years, and I still have membership out at Beaverton with where I have a regular group to play, and that's only about once a week at this point. So that's, I mean, there's a lot of pluses. We love our apartment. It's big, so very spacious, and got all this features that we need. And I even have my own private room for my sometimes loud music system. And it's right in the middle of the apartment and doesn't bother anybody. Thanks to partly to the construction, this is a very quiet environment.
That's wonderful. Thank you. One of the other things we hear often, people will say, you know, well, we're going to stay in our house until we can't anymore, and if we need healthcare, we'll just bring it in. So I'm curious. We can maybe go back to Bruce and Ronnie. What did that play into your decision, or what are your thoughts on doing that? And is it something you considered?
I hadn't considered it in this country. It's certainly feasible in Mexico. People are very caring there, and there's some very good help available. But unfortunately, conditions down there are not as stable as they are up here. And we thought, well, it's like U.S. is going to keep ahead of them for a while, so we'll base our operations in the U.S. And here you have the benefit at Terwilliger of mass purchasing power that you just wouldn't have in your home. And instead of having to make all decisions about, well, who do I hire? When are they available? Et cetera, et cetera. It's all easily accessible right here. That's wonderful.
Well, we also had many experiences taking care of our elders. And so we had also looked at many places to live. And we also did not want to put our children through what we had gone in taking care of in-home care with our grandparents, parents, and relatives. So we were very clear that we were not going to be a burden on our kids. So when we came to looking for a place, we looked at many, and Terwilliger really had what we considered one of the best situations for us in just who we are. There's some advantages that we saw, and that was that we would get to know the staff sooner. If something happened to one of us before the other, we already would have a community. So there were many things like that that for us were very valuable and very important. And we have been so impressed with the staff. One other very quick thing that we've noticed is that a lot of the couples, sometimes one of the members will be in one part of the building. And it has been so beautiful to watch the care and the staff and the partner really being part of that person's life still. And that for us is very special. And if we had to, we would move together into one of those places also as an option. But there are just many alternatives. And as we've gotten to know the staff, we are so impressed with the caring. And that for us was really important.
Thank you, Noni. Bruce. So you kind of alluded to it a little bit about the healthcare, but do you have anything else to add?
Oh, I think we have wonderful health care here, and it's a continuing care facility. And that's one reason why I moved here. As you get older, you never know what's going to happen. And if you're in your own home and you fall and you have to decide quickly, it's very hard to know where to go. And you might have to just decide in a minute or two along with your family. But having just had this knee surgery, and I've always been active my whole life, done a lot of traveling all over the world, I found having my physical therapist right here downstairs. I didn't have to go elsewhere for that. We have the clinic here, the continuing care. If you need it, you get 3 days in assisted living free of charge each year if you're recovering from the flu or something like that. And we have assisted living. So I'm ready for all of those changes if I need them. And the other thing is we have a little red button here in our bathroom. I have one, and I've pushed it twice when I've been concerned about something going on with my health. And immediately someone will come up and take your vital signs and things and tell you if they think you need to go to the emergency room or if you're doing fine. So that's been helpful. And there are just so many people you can turn to here for help if you need it, as far as your health goes. And I have all my doctors over at Good Samaritan, and I can take the bus out here and then transfer to the streetcar that drops me off right at Good Sam. So that's been an advantage for me.
Thank you, Sue.
Mm-hmm.
Teresa, this is Phyllis.
Yeah.
All three of our speakers there really radiate thoughts that Ron and I have for being here. And when we thought about moving to a CCRC, I think a lot of it was based on the care that I had to give to my parents. And I was like Noni and Bruce, I was exhausted. And I didn't want anything like that to be happening to our children, having to take care of us. And a day doesn't go by that one of our kids doesn't say to us, "Mom, I'm so glad you and Dad moved to Terwilliger." Mm-hmm. And I feel that that's really a present that we have given to them, and they will have a much better aging life than I had for several years in taking care of my parents. And the healthcare is absolutely wonderful. Ron had an accident in the fitness room, and within 5 minutes, there was a nurse there. I had been called. They took all his vital signs. They called the ambulance. The ambulance came and took him to the hospital, and it worked just like clockwork. And if that would have happened to him at our home, I worry about a situation like that. I would worry about it. And I find that living at Twilliger, I have more time for all the activities and volunteer work that I do. I wouldn't possibly be able to keep up a house and do everything that I do here. It is just a godsend to us.
Thank you. I will share a little, talking about your kids thanking you. When we did this myth versus fact back in November, one of our speakers, Clifford Droke and his wife, Diane Penny, they have 6 children. And when they were thinking about coming to a community, they said, we didn't tell our kids, we just made a decision. And 3 out of the 6 kids were not happy with them, not happy at all. One of them, they said, wouldn't come here to Twilliger Plaza to visit them for like 3 years. They finally got over it, and they say the same thing, which I think is interesting. The kids now, because what's happening is all of their kids have spouses and their parents have not made the decision. So they, in one way, shape, or another, they are dealing with all of their in-laws and having to help and make decisions. And so just like you said, it was an absolute gift to the kids. They didn't know it at the time, but you know,
Yeah.
it came about later. So thank you. One last one, then I think I'm gonna open it because I do want some of you have attended our last myth versus fact, and I don't want it to be too much of a repeat. But another thing we sometimes hear is we paid off our house, so it doesn't make financial sense for us to move. We'll just stay here and, do the bring home care. Maybe we can start backwards, and Ron and Phyllis, when you're thinking about like the cost of maintaining your home, I know you were up in the Southwest Hills, like how did that play into your decision on, coming to Twilliger?
Well, when we were in the Southwest Hills, that we had an interim step before we came to Twilliger. We downsized and we're in a condo down at the riverfront. And then we made the move. And Phyllis was really pushing for the move to Twilliger after a couple of years there.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And for all the other features that would be available to us, because we didn't have anyone to give us care if we had any kind of problem. And I'm grateful that she suggested that, and we did the move. At first I had my doubts, but there's no doubt anymore. As you said, we've been here 6 years now, and it's a great fit.
And financially, we didn't think too much about the difference of the financial implication, I guess you'd say. We just knew it was something we wanted to do. We sold our house, but we still had in the condo, we still had bills to pay. You had homeowners, you had electricity, you had all of the amenities that keep you going. And this for us is easier almost, I think. We just pay our one bill every month to Twilliger, and we don't have to worry about the other things. Plus, when you own a home, you have a yard work to do, you have to repaint and that type of thing, cleaning, and all of those things cost money. And here we're just cozy as can be, and the majority of the needs are taken care of. So the financial, I have to say, really wasn't an issue for us.
Bruce and Nani.
Wow.
I
We
know you had a house in the Southwest Hills too.
Yes,
right. We
did.
had a big old house where
Surrounded by mature woods, 140-foot Doug firs and
Yes.
maple trees with
yeah,
leaves like a dinner plate. So you can imagine climbing up on the roof and clearing off branches and leaves, clearing the gutters a few times a year. I don't miss that at all.
Nor do I.
I think a very important thing that may be overlooked sometimes by some people is you have the benefit here of community purchasing power.
yes.
And so the services that you used to have to handle as an individual homeowner are much cheaper on a mass basis. And in a way, it just becomes invisible to you. We have landscapers that keep the grounds very nice. I don't have to worry about, well, maybe I need to get a different landscaper or, you know, whatever. No, that's no longer a worry.
Yeah.
And the same thing with purchasing utilities. You know, it's just all inclusive, and like we heard, one bill a month takes care of all of it, and much more efficiency because of the greater purchasing power of the whole community.
And I honestly think we're in our case, we're saving money because we had a big old funky house,
Yes.
and we no longer have to drive downtown to concerts, to all of the activities that we went to the fitness place. We now have a gym right here that we can walk to, you know, down the hall and not come home freezing cold. You know, we don't have to pay for parking downtown anymore. We can walk to the symphony, we can walk to the art museums, the
University.
restaurants, to the university and take classes. All of those things for us have been a huge savings, in all honesty. And we feel we've sort of have this amazing new freedom that is amazing. And I think one of the biggest freedoms that we feel is the freedom from stuff. We've gotten rid of so much stuff, and living simply has been wonderful. And we love our cozy little apartment, and it, you know, it still feels like us. It's informal and it feels safe, and we feel very taken care of. And that is a price, you can't really put a price tag on that, but it feels very, very special. The other piece that for us that has been wonderful is we have many, many children, and they're of diverse cultures, and they love coming to Tualatin, all of them. And I think we've given them a wonderful gift. And I think they would all tell you, if you see them in the hall, that that is the case.
Thank you, Nani. And didn't you tell me that some of your grandkids they've already marked out how many miles each hallway is, and they can
Oh,
get
yes, yes. On rainy days when we can't go outside, they love walking the hallways and love the art.
Yes.
Yes, they are.
They've gotten an art education,
Yes.
as have I.
As have we.
That's
And
great.
that is another wonderful thing to think about on those rainy days when we can't get outside. You literally can walk a couple of miles if you walk the halls and in the tower. And that's very special for us. And it's safe to walk at night. You can be out there at midnight.
Sue, I know you have some thoughts on living simply and
On moving, I owned a home in Southwest years ago, and then I moved to the Pearl District and bought a loft there. And I enjoyed it for 8 years. And I'd already downsized. And so when I moved here, I didn't have to sell too many things, but I sold about half of what was in my loft and decided to get new things for the space that I was moving to here, which worked out beautifully. When I came here 10 years ago, I put my name on the list. They had apartments to show me, and I found one I liked. After looking at several, because they're all different, even a one bedroom is different from another one bedroom, or a studio is different from another. And I finally found one I liked, and I had to go out and get some money because I hadn't sold my loft yet, even though I thought it would sell. So I just went to the bank and got, I don't know how much money, a loan, put it down here to secure my apartment, and went home to my loft and put that on the market, thinking if it doesn't sell, I'll just give up that money that I put down. That's how eager I was to get here. And sure enough, the loft sold in a couple of days. And I moved in with the help of my children. They were always supportive of my being here. They said, Mom, it's the best decision you've made. None of them objected in any way. I did have a couple friends that thought I was that I wasn't ready for this. They were examining their own lives, I think, and thinking, oh, I don't want to face that, so I'll just say, oh, you're not ready for that yet. But I think the biggest mistake you make in moving here is to wait too long. I think if you come sooner rather than later, you're better off. And if you don't bring all your stuff with you, I work in Treasures too, along with Phyllis. And sometimes we have to go to people's apartments and get a lot of the things they brought that they really didn't need. And we will sell them then in Treasures for the benefit of the foundation. But I think it's good not to have stuff that's weighing you down, because if you have a lot to deal with, it's better to downsize and get rid of it, because it's a burden to carry that around on your shoulders sometimes. I found that. So I live small so that I can live big. And I like to travel, and I've done a lot of it. And I'm freed up to do that because I have one maintenance fee to pay here, which covers my telephone, the television, everything in my unit. And I can call for help anytime I need it. So anyway, I'm lucky to be here. I always wanted to be here and didn't think I could afford it, but I found out I could. I have one neighbor who says she saves $500 a month because she moved here and didn't have to then go out and get someone to do her gardening and her roof and whatever. Another friend who lives here now for several years was sorry he didn't do it sooner. He was afraid of the buy-in. A lot of people, that's what comes out. We don't want the buy-in. But I think it's worth it. It's never been a problem for me. It's a good place to put your money, because with continuing care, you're thinking ahead, which is the goal, I think.
Awesome.
Thank you, Sue. And if you don't mind, I think I'm going to steal that line. Did you say, I live small so I can live small so I can live large?
I do live small, and my apartment is a studio, and I have to say, I get all the amenities anyone else gets here. And I love living small because I don't carry that burden around with me of having a lot of stuff.
Great.
And I have it decorated like a hotel room. I have a double bed here in my studio. And I love it. And I have a kitchen and a dining room, a bathroom, a living area, and my bedroom, all in one.
Very nice. All right. So before I open up to questions from anyone on the panel, do you have some, I don't want to say parting thoughts because we're not done, but anything that you want to mention that might not get asked that you want to make sure people know?
I have just one of the things that for us has been so impressive, and because we looked at so many different places, one of the things that just really just makes my heart happy every day is the vibrant, interesting, amazing community of people that we live with. And I think that is something, at least for us, that has been so important. And it's something that our kids all pick up on, and even our grandkids. So I think the informality, just the fact we can be completely ourselves, it just feels like we now live in what I would call an unusual, intellectually curious, interesting group of people. And that is a rare gift, I think. And, you know, everybody seems very warm and very friendly. But I think there's another piece to that. I feel like the people here, as a rule, are very, they're not lonely people. They're not needy. They have an amazing respect for other people's privacy. And at the same time, if you want to be involved in the community and in the activities, there are so many things that you can be involved in as a member, and or that you could start. And I have a long list of them if people are interested. But anyway, I think that for us, it's the people more than anything.
So I found it's what I make of it.
Yeah.
Because there's such a smorgasbord of activities and just interesting people to talk to. It's
Yeah.
wonderful.
I like the view here. I have a wonderful window in my apartment, and I live in the tower, so all of the apartments in the tower have windows that extend the entire room. And I treasure my view every year, every day. And the lounge is right out in front of me, as well as the elevators. And I have a view in the other direction as well. So I love the view and I love the people. I agree with you, Nani. It's one reason I live here. The people are outstanding.
Teresa, I'd like to just build on everything that people have said and maybe end this part of your panel by telling you that we have twin daughters, and they come and help us a lot here, visit us and everything. And they told me the other day that they are planning to move here. And and they asked me what apartments are available. They want to go see them. They're too young to buy in now. But one of my daughters said, "Do you suppose I could put a down payment now for 10 years from now?" And I said, "No, I don't think it works that way." But anyway, they're very interested in all the things we do, and that's at age 53. And they just love coming here. And anyway, I think that says a lot about Twillender.
I agree. They're a few years ahead of me. I plan on retiring here too, but they won't even take a deposit from me at this point. So I thought I could get somehow in, but no. Actually, I haven't asked, but I think we can open up for questions. I know with this size of group, I'm sure we have some questions out there. So you can either put them in the chat room or raise your hand. I guess there's a little hand raising. I don't know where it is on my side, but or just speak up. I think when I'm talking, the little yellow box comes around my picture. So questions. Tom Darby, do you have a question?
Yes, I do. We have a history of hosting university students from around the world. They come sometimes for short classes at PSU or the local colleges. We have friends all over the world that still come and visit us. And I'm just wondering, what control do you have over your own apartment space? Is it possible to have somebody come and stay a week with you in your apartment if you had room? Or is that allowed? Or maybe family members? We have family in Europe that come for 2 weeks every year. Of course, I'm speaking pre-pandemic. I hope that changes, but we'd like to have that option of, if we had a spare space, or, our family in Europe, the kids sleep on the floor in the house we've got here. So we don't need a lot of space. We would just need permission to be able to do that. Is that possible?
We've already done it, and it's wonderful. And we even have cots that we could lend you. And there also, you can rent a guest room, but our apartment is big enough that we can have 2 or 3 people staying with us, and then they can even have their own baths because we have 2 baths.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that's one of the things that makes this place so interesting, is that we do have visitors and people coming to stay.
You can also get a rollaway bed delivered for anyone that's staying over.
Okay, thank you.
Well, and there's one other piece that we've noticed. You can reserve some of the larger rooms if you wanted to have, for example, there's a club room and there's a P3 room, and there are various places that you could, have, if you had somebody coming from Europe and they had some interesting things and you wanted to invite a few people, you can reserve a room and then have that as a bigger place where you could connect with other students or other people, which is our kids and our family so far have loved that.
Yeah. We've done presentations there, parties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, that's a great question. I believe I think there's a 30-day limit on overnight guests, and it's not that you can't get that extended, but we have to say something in our member handbook. So let's see, a question about car ownership. Many of our members.
I was going to say, when I lived in the Pearl, I got rid of my car a long time ago. I wasn't using it, and I could walk anywhere that I needed to go or take public transit. When I moved here, I still don't have a car. But what we have here are chances to go on grocery runs, 2 or 3 a week. And I sign up for those, and I go to Freddy's, I go to Trader Joe's, New Seasons, anywhere that they travel, and you just sign up for it. In addition to that, we have a medical driver who takes you to doctor appointments. So the need for a car here, living downtown, I don't feel that need. I live alone. I don't go to the coast that often unless I go with my family, which I've done. So just living downtown, you don't really need your car. And there's a time when it's good to give up a car and give up driving. It's a hard thing to do, but it works out because so many things are offered here. And I even get groceries delivered here through store to door. When the COVID was so bad last year, I used them every week. And they bring it right to your apartment, and it costs very little. So car thing, I think, is wonderful that some of us live without a car here.
We definitely do have the option of, you can certainly have a car here. There is a monthly fee for the car, for the parking spot. That's not included in your monthly fee. And then someone also asked about a second car. We do just have space for 1 car per home. So if you have 2 cars, there are definitely some nearby places where you could rent a space. Someone asked about dining. Any of our panelists want to talk about dining options?
We love the freedom to cook for ourselves. We have our dietary needs, etc. We also find it lots of fun to take our guests down to the dining room and enjoy the very friendly staff and meals there.
Well, and the fact that we don't have to have a meal plan, in other words, that we have a choice, that was one of the main reasons that we decided that this was the #1 place for us, was the people, and then the fact that we didn't have to have a dining room plan. But our kids love going down there, and whenever we have visitors, we take them down there.
It also saves us money by not having to take our meals here. And the deli is a wonderful thing too, because they have things available all day, and it's like a little 7-Eleven down there. You can buy anything you need. If it's bad weather outside and you don't want to go out, there's always the deli to go down and get your food. And they're very friendly down there and helpful.
You also can have meals brought to you if you needed to. And apparently, we haven't tried this yet, but it looks like you can have, if you were going to have a big group, you could have things catered.
That's true. I think Richard Jones had a question. Do you want to ask your question? Are you there, Richard? If you can get to the chat room, go ahead and put your question in there. Don McCoy says, can you talk about buy-in? We can talk about it all day long. I guess maybe, are you wanting to know like the ranges of the buy-in or refundability? There's a lot we could talk about with that. So if you want to either go ahead and start talking and let us know what specifically you want to know about the buy-in, or you can put it in the chat room.
Probably all of the above.
Isn't there a buy-in where you can get 90% back?
Yes.
There's one for 80%.
Oh, 80%, okay.
So
You have a choice of the buy-in, however you want to do it.
So we do have, and Dawn, we can certainly send you some information, but I'll just do a quick review. We also have a recording of an amazing presentation that our CFO did, and she goes into a lot of detail about specifically about buying into CCRCs. So Dawn, we can certainly email you that with her slides. But basically it's a one-time membership fee that you pay. It ranges in Terwilliger anywhere from about $80,000 up to the most expensive one in Parkview will be, I think, a little over $1 million, and literally everything in between. So you pay the buy-in fee, and then the refundability portion. So in the tower, there's only one type of agreement at this point. We're looking at other options, but for tower, there's one option, and that's called the traditional agreement. And what happens with the traditional agreement is if you were to leave for any reason in the first 6 months, you would get 85% of your membership fee back. And then after that 6-month mark, all the way up to the 40-month mark, your membership, your refund essentially would be reduced by an equal amount all the way to the 40-month mark, where at that point it would be 0. So, yeah, so that's the traditional. Now in Heights and Parkview, we offer the traditional, but we also offer the 80% refundable. Now the 80% refundable, it is more expensive to get into that type of an agreement. But the nice thing is, no matter when you leave or why you leave, it does not matter. 80% of that membership fee will go back to you or to your estate if you have passed away. So there's some flexibility there. If you know, some people say, you know what, I don't have kids, I don't need to preserve, you know, I'm fine if I die with $0 in my checking account. And for them, it wouldn't make sense to do the refundable. But other people really do want to have a way to pass along some assets to their estate. It could be kids, or could be charity, could be a number of things. So that's, and the membership fees range, that big range I gave you is based on the size of the home and the location. The higher up you go, the higher the floor, the higher the membership fee. If you're on a side with the Mount Hood view, those are going to be a little bit more than the ones on the west side, and so on and so forth. So that's why the big range. So did that answer generally your questions, Dawn?
Sure.
And like I said, we can send you, I think we've got your email address, so we can certainly send you the CFO presentation. We've had some really good feedback on that it's been really helpful. Let's see. So somebody asked about IT, what IT infrastructure and support services are offered and included in fee? I bet Nani and Bruce, I know since you moved in recently, do you have any input on that, on what services you've used?
Well, they simply plugged in a router and the decoder box for the TV. The router provides Wi-Fi through all the 3 rooms that we have, and it's much better than what we had up in the Southwest Hills.
Yes, and I work basically full-time online, and I am amazed at how consistent it is. Haven't had any problems yet. And if we do, we know that we can call them immediately.
Yep.
And people come, which is wonderful.
I think they're very responsive. They come right away when you call them almost, as well as maintenance. and EVS. I haven't had any problems with calling any of them for help. And I have all the things you have, the television, the Wi-Fi, the box, computer. I have it all. Doesn't cost me anything. Sometimes if I'm having a problem with something, there's a slight fee. I think for 15 minutes, it's, I'm not sure, $20, something like that, 20 or 30 maybe. But they solve it right away.
Yeah, that's actually one of the things I've heard from members, that, not having to hire their own IT person to come in and fix their computer or debug it or whatever. We do have a great IT department that, really enjoys helping people. We even do classes on, how to make sure you're not clicking on the wrong things and getting malware on your computer. And we have a class called Bring Your Own Device. So you can bring your own device and they'll help you right then and there with it. So lots of options there.
I think you should do that.
Let's see, it looks like we've got several questions here, so I want to make sure we get through most of these. If we don't get to one of your questions, we are writing them down, by the way, and we will make sure we respond. And let's see, average monthly annual fee. I don't have that number because it varies so much, but certainly we can get that to you. I think, was that? Oh, Jane Reinhardt. Okay, we can send that to you. Let's see, are we planning to add more restaurants in the future? No, we are planning a massive remodel of our current dining options. And that we're hoping to start that remodel towards the end of this year. Our goal is to have that done by the time Parkview opens. I'm sure a lot of you have heard about this lovely supply chain issue we have going on in the world today. So, it could change our plans a tiny bit, but we will be remodeling and expanding what we have, but we will not add any more than 2. We'll still have the 2 dining options. Jojo, I don't know, you are texting me and I'm trying to read all the questions. You want to pipe in with a question?
Yes, I know some of these questions our marketing and sales department can answer for you. And this is a great opportunity to ask some questions to our panelists and get to know a little bit about their involvement. I know a couple of the ladies there volunteer in our treasure store. And I thought maybe they could talk about what they enjoy doing there and why they do it.
I'm sure that both of us could talk about that. One of the reasons I do it is that I get to meet so many people that I wouldn't have met when I first moved in. And I just love the camaraderie of working with the people and helping them purchase things that in the end benefit all our members. It's a great opportunity. It's loads of fun.
I've been involved in Treasures for many years now, and I basically work in the supply room where we take in merchandise and price it and bring it to the gift shop. I find the staff loves it, the members love it. It's a great way to socialize. It's good for their mental health. They just need to shop sometimes. And one thing, and the reason I volunteer is the money goes to our foundation and the Lester Hoel Fund, which we have here, that helps people to stay here even though they have run out of money, because it's their home. And there's a philosophy here that if it's your home, you shouldn't be forced out of it. And they help you to stay here. And the foundation is a big help with all of that. So that's one reason I value my time in Treasures, to try and make money for the foundation, and it all goes there. And I just love being with the people that work in Treasures and the people that come in to buy. So I'm available anytime to help in any way they need me.
And
Oh, go ahead.
I guess my other question is, I noticed a couple people had put in the comment box how did we do during COVID? And I thought maybe each of you could talk about your experience here and how did Terwilliger Plaza do for you?
I thought they were fabulous. I am so impressed. And because I work with so many people and hear of so many other places that didn't handle it well, I am in awe and in shock. And I think they get an A+ in that area. And it was thoughtfully done as well as safely done. And I will share a very quick experience. During the COVID, we moved in during COVID. And one of the things that happened was the lights went out for, I think it was 5 days on our part of the building. And I was in awe and in shock at how well the staff, as well as the other members, all pitched in to help our floors that didn't have any electricity or heat during that time. You know, they got us a microwave. We were all out sometimes in our pajamas, you know, and bathrobes, and basically sharing this little tiny microwave, finding ways to be able to, you know, people offered their refrigerators to us. I mean, it was extraordinary how the staff and the other members all connected with kindness and thoughtfulness. And we were amazed.
I think they kept us up to date here on what was going on with COVID on a weekly basis. And we could go to the clinic, we could, if we had a problem, and they would, you know, look at us and tell us how we were doing. And I think our CEO here did his briefings and kept us really well informed. So we all stayed very well. I know very few people here who had COVID at all, and we never had to close down completely. We were isolated somewhat, but we carried on with Zoom. Yep.
So there actually was a question specifically, you just mentioned, Sue, that we never closed down completely. Somebody did ask about the beginning, you know, where we closed down. So yes, in the very beginning, we did close down for visitors. We closed down our dining room. However, we did deliver meals to rooms. But, you know, we chose to take the extra cautious route. And trust me, it wasn't necessarily fun, but kind of like what Nani was saying, the members at Terwilliger Plaza, they were all in. They said, you know what, we gotta do it. We have to protect ourselves and each other, and this is what we have to do for now. We understand. So now, of course, we've reopened, our dining room's open, our pool is open. So, you know, it's different now, of course, after the vaccines came out, but we're still really careful. You know, right now, as a matter of fact, just for a week or two, we have chosen to, you know, not purposely go out of our way to have big gatherings. So, and that will change again, but we're always on top of what's going on with the Oregon Health Authority and the county. The last thing we want to do is have a super spreader event. That's not something we want. So, so we do try to be really careful. So, you know, you might find, as we all know, things change. I mean, who knew? We didn't even know about this Omicron thing a couple months back. So, so yeah, and then
I wanted to say that the pool stayed open too. I am used to going there, and during COVID, when it was at its worst, we could make an appointment and they would allow 3 people in the pool at one time. So that even stayed open.
But cautiously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And this question often comes up, and I'm glad it did. Have the events of the past 2 years in Portland and the pandemic influenced your enthusiasm for living downtown? We haven't heard from Ron and Phyllis for a while. Maybe we'll start with you.
We have felt that we were very well cared for and continue to be cared for. And downtown, there's just lots of ways to entertain yourself during this time. Walking, taking the number 8 bus. This afternoon, I think we're going to take the light rail out to the zoo. We just didn't feel curtailed at all, really. We were able to have all the activities that we normally do with our family. We have a very tight 8th floor here at the Heights, and we get together frequently with them with 6 feet apart. Anyway, I can't really say that COVID and living here has made any difference in our social life and our ability to travel on foot, on the buses, the streetcars, and everything. It just hasn't curtailed us.
I think I've been a little more cautious because I'm a single woman. I think if I had someone to go with downtown, I would do it more often. I used to go by myself all the time, but I have to be a little more cautious because some things have changed. And as a single woman, I'm more vulnerable, an old woman who's single.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
I think I would have felt a lot more isolated in our house up in the Southwest Hills.
Yeah.
Rather than being here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
I think June, I think you asked that question. What we've heard from a lot of people is, the symphony is still going, the art museum, sure, there was a time at the beginning of COVID where, everything was closed, but honestly, what I hear a lot is from people who live here, if you didn't watch the news, you wouldn't really know that anything was different, I mean, obviously people have masks on in many places nowadays, but downtown Portland is still very vibrant and there's still lots to do. There's the farmer's market and so on. So
I wanted to say I recently went to the Van Gogh exhibit, the interactive one over at the convention center. And it was so nice to get out and see that. And it's so well regulated with the masks and all that you don't feel like you're in jeopardy there at all. And I recommend it to anyone who hasn't been there.
Someone would like to know about if the panelists could talk about music at Terwilliger Plaza and in the city.
It's incredible.
Why are you laughing, Nani?
We just
There's
love
never
it.
enough music.
Yeah, it's just wonderful. And there are, the symphony's wonderful. The concerts at various churches, there's all kinds of Baroque, there's Renaissance music. And then here at Terwilliger, right literally down the hall, are amazing concerts every week. And we are so impressed. And they're different kinds of music. Mm-hmm. It's not all the same kind.
Right.
And that for us has been wonderful.
Thank you. Let's see, mask policy. Yes, masks. That's Absolutely. Our policy. Yeah, if you're out in a public area, you need to have your mask on. We do have in our assisted living, we have some extra protocols in there. So if you are going to visit someone over there at this time, at least, you not only need a mask, but you need a face shield or tight fitting goggles. That depending on things in the county and whatnot, that could change. But again, for assisted living, we just are choosing to be extra cautious, and frankly, it has paid off. I think I missed a question up here. Anybody chime in if you've got, let's see. Noise level. Well, we're in the city. So somebody's asking about the noise level. Is it ever an issue? What floors does it lessen? Sue, you're on the 7th floor, is that right?
Who are you talking to?
Oh, I was talking to Sue.
Oh, I'm on the 10th floor. And as you say, we live in the city. You have to expect some noise. There are sirens. Can't think of too many other areas that's the one probably that you hear the most, because we have the healthcare community right on the hill here, OHSU. As far as noise in the apartment, I never hear any. Up above, below, to the side. I think it's well insulated, so I have no problem with noise on the 10th floor. And I sleep with my window open every night. So.
Yeah. And we know Ron makes a lot of noise.
Just in one room, and it's not noise, it's music.
Sorry.
It's a nice room.
We
But,
find it hard to believe that our neighbor upstairs had a grand piano in their apartment. So we never heard it.
Yeah.
And you must never play it. No, my wife plays it.
Yeah, I think we have, I don't know, 5 or 6 people that I know of who have pianos in their homes. So, what other questions for the panelists? Give them some hard ones.
You want to hear about housekeeping, linen care?
Well, I think if it's important, if you think it's important and or something you like about living here, Sue, then yes.
Oh, well, I can say that I really enjoy my housekeeper coming in every other week. She does a fantastic job. It always smells good when she leaves, and the floor is done, the bathroom, the kitchen. It frees me up. I don't have to do any housekeeping anymore. And linen service the same way. We're responsible for our personal things, but you can send your towels and your sheets down to linen, and they iron them and bring them back to you.
I would just love to say that one of the things that we both have noticed is that there are so many concerts, movies, clubs. There are amazing numbers of clubs, all started by members. And that for us, in other words, if we want to start something, you just kind of get together and you start it. I mean, for example, there's, a meditation group, there's human rights groups, there are informative films that have discussions on art and archaeology and different cultures, a philosophy group, language interest groups, volunteer opportunities. There's talk now about getting a really good art studio going. There's a Saturday forum, there's creative writing, there's quilt making, there's just all kinds of opportunities that we haven't noticed quite as much in other places. And these are really going and up and running. And if we wanted to start something new, we could. And I think that's pretty amazing. As well as just having so many different places where you can connect with other people, I think is really positive.
And to put this in context a little better, we've looked at places on the East Coast, the Southwest, Mexico, California, Oregon.
Yeah.
We love it here.
Yeah, you two definitely did your homework.
Yeah, Yep. And being able to just close up the house and walk out of our apartment and go travel, that for us is a huge gift.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, go ahead, Sue.
I was going to say, as far as linen service and housekeeping, we don't pay extra for anything like that here. There are places that charge for absolutely everything, your linen service, your housekeeping, meals, all kinds of things. Even if you're not partaking of your meals, sometimes you have to pay for them. So, but the housekeeping is free and the linen service, it's not free, but it's included in your monthly maintenance, which is established every year. And it doesn't go up that much in price, I've found, compared to some other places.
So someone asked about, do we have foreign language clubs?
Yes.
We do. And Jojo, I don't know if you want to tell a quick story about your tour. And actually, I think your guest from all the way from Germany, who I believe is on our call right now, had a great experience touring here when she was in town a few weeks ago. How many different languages did you speak? Or maybe not you, Jojo, but
German.
Jojo.
Or she's muted.
Yeah, she might be on the phone.
Oh.
So
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Oh, I was just talking about foreign language groups. I know you had a tour with your guest from Germany a few weeks ago, and as you toured around, how many different languages your guest was speaking
Well,
with
there
our
def-
members?
There definitely was a handful of different languages. And we do have a number of people that are starting to start a French club.
And there's a Spanish club.
Right. And then locally, there's also the Alliance Française.
Yeah.
And we have one of our members is teaching Spanish class as well.
Let's see, how do you pay for meals? You just charge them to your monthly account. There's you give the server your name and your home number and they bill it. It's magic.
And there's no tipping.
Yeah, no tipping. So I want to go back to one question because this is a really good question and concern. Have we had problems with personnel during COVID, as other retirement communities have? You know, we have been very fortunate. I'm not going to call it lucky, but we definitely, and I'm not going to sit here and say we have the cream of the pick of it. You know, every time we put an ad on, we have, you know, hundreds of people apply. That's a lie. But Nani has mentioned it several times. You know, our team here is really dedicated and really happy to be here for the most part. And Terwilliger Plaza is frankly a wonderful place to work. So we have tried to do things that make people want to be here and want to stay here. And part of that is our safety with COVID. You know, there are some communities, I have friends who still run assisted livings and nursing homes. And there are some people out there, companies out there that don't provide enough PPE for their staff, and the staff are scared. And so that's just one of the many things that we do here, you know, making sure they're paid well, making sure they have good benefits. Our 401k here the match is great. So we try to do some things that make it better. One of the things for healthcare in particular, our assisted living, unlike any that I know of in town, is staffed 24/7 by licensed nurses. Many caregivers and CNAs, you know, if you're in a standalone assisted living, you could be a caregiver. You know, last week you worked at Taco Bell, this week you're in an assisted living and you're the only caregiver for 80 people overnight. I mean, that makes my heart jump out of my chest just thinking about it. So that's one of the things that our team and our health services likes working here, because they know they have the support of a licensed nurse when they're here, that they don't have to make some of those difficult decisions, and they're not the only person like in charge of 80 lives every night. So that's just a few things that we've done, but it's a tough, and I don't, you know, I think I think I was on a call last week with 7 other communities. We were the only one whose dining room was still open. Now, some of that's due to staffing, some of that's due to because their staff had COVID and they will be reopening, but you know, we have managed pretty well with everything considered here.
I saw a question about diversity, and that was something that was near and dear to our heart. And maybe the person can ask a little bit more what they were thinking of with the diversity, but I have some thoughts on that. If
that was Kathy.
Well, just quickly, if one of the things is, I don't feel that this is a tremendously diverse population in terms of race. However, I do see it as diversity in differences. And that's been one of the things that I think we have both really loved, is that we will meet people who are very, very different, who've lived out of the box, who have had unique careers and all of that kind of thing. But I think what's most important in our situation, because we happen to have a very, very diverse family of adopted, all kinds of homemade kids, from different countries.
And different gender
Yes,
orientations.
all kinds. I mean, we just have a unique, very rare family situation. And for us, one of the things that we've noticed here is radical acceptance of our kids, and our kids feel so accepted here, which is wonderful.
Yeah, and have that.
Mm-mm.
I don't know if that answered. I couldn't quite see the question. But it
I
did.
think the question included staff too.
Oh,
And I feel like our staff is very diverse in so many ways.
We took part in the Employee Appreciation Day, and I found that there are probably at least 7 languages spoken.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I missed some.
I have to say something about the employee appreciation party that we put on. The employees loved the, well, I don't know, what would you call it, that you put across the window and you had,
The
and you
calligraphy.
had all of the different languages listed.
Banner.
The banner, yeah, I think it was a banner. And I had so many employees tell me that they so appreciated their languages being respected and put on that banner. And the employee appreciation event is something else that the members put on for all our employees. And the employees just love it. So anyway, that was our small amount of addressing diversity in the Employee Appreciation Fund.
And Bruce had more fun making that poster. You
Did
should
he?
see it. And checking out those languages.
He did that.
Yeah, it was great. And we've saved that. So for the next one, we'll have it up again because it just brought down the house.
I have a question. I'm not a member, but a Portland native and resident. But in the spirit of hearing the panel speak today, and I so appreciate this, the idea of the membership, when that comes up, and I think, Teresa, you had mentioned something about a member's handbook, but what are the kinds of requirements or duties that each member is expected or needs to participate in over and above making the investment to join the community? Is there some sort of piece there that you might elaborate on if I've made myself clear?
Are you asking if we're going to force you to volunteer when you get here, Will?
In a sense, yes.
I think that's a good question.
Are hermits allowed?
Yeah. I mean, you have to. Yeah. I have not felt any pressure. We get asked often to do things, but when we say no, we just don't have time or we can't. People, I would say it's what you want to put into it
Exactly.
as a member, and that and that there is this, what I call a radical acceptance of each person being allowed to be different. And that for me is really special.
Thank you.
You have an opportunity to participate in all kinds of things, but 10 years I've been here, I haven't felt any pressure at all, even with resident council or member forums, any of that. You can go and participate and ask questions if you want to, but there's no pressure to do it. Even being a floor rep, which I've been for a couple times, there's no pressure there. You might be asked, but you can always say no.
And not feel bad about it. That's we haven't felt bad saying no. And sometimes once in a while we accept.
Thank you.
Someone asked about pets, so I want to quickly address that. Yes, pets are allowed. In the tower and the heights, the pet policy is companion or service animals. So if you have a companion animal, we give you a form that your doctor fills out. It's really pretty simple. Of course, service, guide dogs for the blind, those types of animals. You know, yes, there's paperwork for your veterinarian and whatnot, but not the doctor required paperwork. And then in Parkview, Parkview will be 100% pet friendly, if you will. So there won't be the designation over there for companion. So yeah, we have several. We do have 2 floors in the tower, 3 and 9, that are 100% pet free. So if you have a pet or want to get a pet, then I would suggest you not come to floor 3 or 9. Actually, we have somebody right now moving from 3 because they really, really want to get a kitty cat. So yeah, hopefully that answered that. Did I miss any questions, or are there others? I'm scrolling through this little tiny box. Anything else? I know we have some members on the call. We have board members too. If you have any comments you'd like to add, please feel free. And then we have some Parkview members who have reserved their home in Parkview, and I would throw it out there to you too if you want to chime in and say why you are choosing to come our way when Parkview opens. That would be great too. All right, well, how about any last words from our panelists? I know we've had a lot going on, but anything that you'd like to close with or offer? Sometimes I don't want to, commit you to this, but most of the time, if someone on the call wants to chat one-on-one with one of our members, I don't know if you 5 of you would be willing to do that, but sometimes that's really helpful. As people do have questions that they want to get a little bit more into.
I wanted to say that I think Terwilliger Plaza itself has many opportunities for people of all means. I've been told by a lot of people it costs too much money to live there. It isn't true, because I found it reasonable. And once I sat down with marketing, I realized I could move here, thinking ahead that I maybe couldn't. But I'm here and I love it, and I believe in the plaza.
I was one who was concerned that it might be too soon. And now I realize, after being here, actually, I was very close to being too late.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
We
Now,
love. Go ahead.
You asked a minute about Parkview members, and we're on the Parkview list. We're looking forward to moving in late 2023 when the building is done. And why we chose Terwilliger Plaza is reasons that others have listed mostly. We live in Northeast Portland. We looked around at the other places in the Portland area. We didn't want to leave this region. We were drawn to Terwilliger because of all of the programs and the facilities that are there, and especially in my part, because of the self-governing aspect of it. The fact that your board has a majority of resident members. I think that's important. It makes you unique, and I think very valuable. So we're looking forward to moving in. Like others who've spoken today, we enjoy the symphony and other concerts downtown and other amenities of downtown. So we're anticipating just continuing to do that without having to come across the Willamette River to do it. We just have to cross the 405 freeway ditch. So we think Terwilliger is an excellent facility with good programs, and so far wonderful staff. And it sounds like I think you're doing well keeping your staff during the COVID better than others have done. My mother-in-law is in another of the local facilities, and they've had quite a bit of turnover.
Yeah. Thank
So
you so
we're
much,
looking
Tommy.
forward to this choice. We're looking forward to moving in.
Thank you. We're looking forward to having you for sure.
Can you hear me okay? I'd like to make a comment too. This is Rich Siegel.
Yeah, is that Richard? Okay.
Yes, yes, I'm also a future Parkview resident. And I was very reassured when I'm hearing people say, oh, I wish we'd come here sooner, because I am coming there sooner.
Oh, smart.
I'm only 66, okay? So I said, and my relatives said, why do you want to go in this place so soon? You said, because I wanted to live in a condo and all that stuff. And then it turns out this is a condo. It's also retirement. You know, it's living downtown with a good view, and I'm very lucky all these years having nice views wherever I live. And I said, I'm going to do this now. No, you don't want to do it now. Yes, I do. Shut up. And now I have ammunition. You have some people there who are saying, we wish we could get sooner. So I'm glad I sat in on this. I said, well, I don't have to come. I know what's going on. I'm already a member and I'm pitching it, but I'm glad I showed up and listened to your stories, because that was very reassuring that I made the right choice. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Richard.
Welcome.
Yeah. Michelle, did you have your hand up?
I was just affirming the fellow who was talking about Park Rose. No, Parkview.
I knew what you meant.
I'm sorry, I'm a little bit shy, so I just wanted you to know that I am very excited about moving. I hope it's earlier in 23 rather than later in 23, but whichever it is, I'm very excited.
Good.
Wonderful.
We look forward to meeting you.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions or parting words? Someone did ask about the recording. Usually it takes a few days for us to get the finished recording, and we will send the recording, a link to it. It'll be a Vimeo recording. We'll send that out to everyone who RSVP'd for today's event, so you can have that to re-listen to or share if you'd like. And do let us know if you haven't seen our, we have several videos that are really helpful. One is the CFO video with Judy O'Donnell, and she talks about buying into CCRCs. She's done that one a few times. There's a lot of information in that one, so we tend to also send her slides with that, so you can make notes and look at her math, if you will. So we have that one we can send you. We also have a Meet the Architect for Parkview. So if you're kind of considering or thinking about Parkview as an option, that's a Meet the Architect and the interior designer. So that's a helpful one, which, by the way, February 24th, our next event, which will be on Zoom, we're being cautious through February, that will be a Meet the Architect event. So Peter House Connect, our lead architect, and our interior designers will be on virtually to help you understand a little bit about the Parkview building concept and the passive house design, which is extremely unique and really kind of one of a kind in senior housing in the United States. And then planning ahead, March 17th, a lot of you, have some, whether it's a condo or a home to sell before you come to a community like Terwilliger. So there's always the, selling real estate and when is the best time and all those questions. So March 17th, we'll have a real estate webinar for you to partake in if you would like and learn a little bit about the current market, because it is very different right now than it has been over the last several years. So any other questions? And Ron, Phyllis, Sue, any other last, Jojo.
Yes. I just want to say thank you for the privilege of your time today. And I'm really excited. I'm seeing people from all around the world on here. We've got the Meeks from Delaware and the Youngs from Aloha from Hawaii, and Dushwen from Germany, Everett from New York, and there's more that maybe I haven't personally touched, but thank you so much. I hope to see you again.
Thank you, Jojo. And since we're thanking, I would like to thank Sue, Bruce, and Nani, and Ron, and Phyllis. I don't know if you see the comments, but you know, people really enjoy hearing from you. So I just want to say thank you for your time and your dedication to Terwilliger Plaza, because frankly, it is you. It's frankly really easy for us to sell the community because it is all the things that you have said. And we try to tell people too, yes, you need to, if you want 2 bedrooms or if you want a second bath, those are important things. But really, number one for most people is the personality and the heart of the community. Do you enjoy being here? Do you enjoy the people here? We'll find a home that suits what you want. But first you have to decide, are these your people? Is this your tribe? So, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
And please, we are more than open to talk with anybody at any point. They're welcome to ask us whatever questions.
And we would second that.
Oh, totally agree. I would welcome anyone to even come in and look at my apartment here, which I love.
Thank you so much. All right, well, unless anyone has a last minute question or comment, thank you so much for tuning in, and just really, we're here to help you, and no pressure from us, but we definitely, we obviously love Terwilliger and we think it's a great place. So please let us know if you are considering a community in the near future, and we'll help you navigate that process. So have a wonderful day. The sunshine is out today and tomorrow and Saturday. I understand the rain might come back on Sunday, but anyway, hopefully get out there, and Bruce and Nani, maybe I'll see you up on Terwilliger Boulevard.
Right. Or in the kayaks.
I'm going to wait until it warms up a little bit to get in my kayak. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care. And thank you again, Sue, Bruce, Nani, Ron, and Phyllis.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.